Hey there guys, what's going on? Today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to do a gameplay breakdown of some footage that was sent to me by one of you. I'm sure I will have come up with a creative name for this series by the time I upload this, but at the moment we're simply calling it a gameplay breakdown. This footage was of course sent to us by VForce X, who's been a good lad in the comments recently. According to him, he only has 2 solo wins, but that's alright. It's actually the same amount of solo wins that I have, but let's skip past that. Don't worry about that too much. Just before we do get into breaking down this gameplay here, let's try and get this video to 20 likes. Loving all the support from you guys recently, so make sure you do hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here, because we did recently hit 1,200 subscribers, which is very, very cool. And we're of course moving towards 1,300 now. And if you do want me to review your gameplay, be that Warzone or multiplayer, you can upload the recording to YouTube as an unlisted video and email it to me at lessthanaveragegaming@hotmail.com, or join my community Discord and send me the link. So let's do this. Now, this is of course not something that I've ever done before, so do bear with me here. If it's crap, well, we won't be making any more of these, or we'll try and get better at them, of course. But right off at the start here, there's not too much to say in the first 15 seconds, apart from this footage being very loud. So we can pretty much start just off with this here. Basically, this is a skin in the game. Obviously, you can change your skin in the game. That's pretty obvious to pretty much everyone. But there are certain skins in the game that are going to be better than others. And this isn't a particularly good one with the white hat and white shirt. Basically, you're going to be very visible to pretty much everybody else on the map, being able to see you with your bright white t-shirt on and your bright white cap. If you're actually looking for a more competitive edge on other people, you can try like skins that have darker tones, your greys, your tans, your browns and stuff like that. And you can even get ghillie suits and stuff like that if you are planning on playing in the forest kind of areas. So definitely do want to change this here if we are going for maximum efficiency. So we have of course chosen our drop zone location here, and we are looking to be dropping at I think the TV station. And we are also going to be noting that we're dropping in on a scavenger sort of contract, which is very, very important to try and get a hold of. Particularly the scavenger contract lets you get your first loadout drop very, very quickly. And sort of once you start building up that cash, you're basically underway. But we'll talk about that more in a sec. Okay, so here we want to be practicing better crosshair placement. In this one building alone, there is about 5 different ways enemies can come from you. Just this one specific room alone. So we either want to be sort of moving very quickly towards the next boxes or getting those scavenger contracts done very quickly. Or we want to be sort of peeking those windows and aiming at those doors, making sure people, if we come through them, we can actually get the kill on them. There's not too much to worry about here, but just sort of aiming in the right spots can be a very big deal here. And this is pretty much a perfect example of what I'm trying to talk about here with crosshair placement. If, for example, somebody was to walk through this door here, we're aiming basically at the roof here, and then we have to hit a pretty nasty flick to try and drag down our aim to try and hit the shot. This is especially prevalent with a particular weapon like this, with the 3-burst rifle, where it's already hard to hit the shots, like they go vertically anyway, so aiming up here is not a good idea. So we can see that our man is laying down to put armor on here. This is pretty much unnecessary at the start and slows us down an awful lot, especially when we're trying to find loot. Like, you want to be doing basically everything in the start of the game as quickly as possible. It's not a huge deal, but also you've had this extra armor piece, like you've only had 2 armor for like 40 seconds without putting it on. So if somebody was to push you while that was happening, you'd have to put that extra armor plate on beforehand and then so on. So we're a little bit more vulnerable while we've only got 2 on. Basically, if you pick one up straight away, you should put it on straight away. So basically, we are a minute and 55 seconds into this gameplay. Basically, we only have floor loot at the moment, which is basically pretty slow. I'll talk about this more in a sec, but people have already gotten or are very, very close to getting their first loadout drop here, and we've still got floor loot, and we haven't even opened, or we think we've opened 1 chest here. So we need to move much, much faster, try and open more supply crates, get as good as loot as we can to give us more chance to win a potential fight with an enemy if there does happen to be one around here. Again, crosshair placement is a big issue here. I know it's a little bit more difficult on the sticks if you are on console as well, which I believe you are on here on PlayStation. But you really do need to be aiming at where you think the enemy might come from, rather than just sort of having to force a flick to win this fight if somebody was to walk through this door here, or even if they peek through the window. Like, this is not a great spot to be aiming. You want to be aiming sort of around this door here, or maybe over here as well. Alright, so we are 2 minutes and 10 seconds into this game, and we are only just getting our first scavenger contract now. I know this sounds harsh, but other players, as I said, are already getting their first loadout drop, which is actually making them very, very powerful against you. So if you do happen to come across someone unfortunate enough to run into them, basically we're sort of screwed if somebody does have a loadout drop. So we need to be moving faster, getting everything done more quickly pretty much. And you want to have finished your first contract, your first scavenger contract, that is, at about 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds. I actually really like this play here. Jumping for that window does end up saving you about 20 seconds, but you sort of got punished for missing, and that's a little bit unfortunate. If we had have just hit this, again, we do save about 20 seconds in looting time. So again, just more efficiency and being a little bit more confident with those jumps, actually able to hitting them would make us more efficient and moving on faster towards our loadout drop and sort of getting more kills in this game here. Okay, so I'm just guessing here, but the enemy is in the first floor of that building that you're aiming at here. I know this because you did open this door and you didn't close it. So if the door's still open, he's not in there. Like, you definitely did hear a door open, so he's definitely not in the top, meaning he's downstairs. So basically you sort of don't want to be looking up here, especially if you know, or you should know, where he is, and a headset and sort of better map knowledge of these particular buildings will improve your ability to sort of locate people. But that just takes practice and a decent headset here. There was a little hesitation here, but we basically got the kill on the guy, so that sort of breaking of the window was pretty successful, and we didn't get punished for it, so that works. But again, you did hesitate a little bit here, so you did actually give him the chance to sort of maybe look up and fire on you, so just open up on him straight away. Pretty simple. So we are about 4 minutes into this gameplay, and we still don't have our first loadout drop, which is a big problem. We are way behind the 8 ball of the top players in the game at the moment. Typically, some people would even have maybe 2 loadout drops at this point, which is a pretty big deal, especially if you're struggling to get one. That car there is not a fresh spawn, so that car definitely has no way of spawning there. So that means either somebody is in the building or somebody was previously in the building. I'd guess he's still in there, but we'll definitely see what happens here. By peeking the door and sort of opening it very quietly, that means you're guessing that you think someone's still in here, and that's a fairly good assumption to make. I think there's somebody in this building here. And then you kind of ruin it by sprinting. Like, you had the stealth on the advantage on this guy, and then you started sprinting. So either he heard that, or you got lucky and maybe he didn't hear it. You either ADS walk through this building and basically silent, or if you are going to peek the door open, like I said, you just want to walk through, or you just sprint the whole thing, knock open the door, and then sprint up the stairs and try and kill the guy. Neither here is wrong, but mixing the two can sort of get you killed. And our man here's decided that basically it's not worth trying to fight this guy if there is somebody in here, so we're going for the loadout drop, I believe. Yep, so we're definitely going for the shop, and we're going after the loadout drop here. Okay, so this is a really bad spot to call in this loadout drop here. You're very, very exposed from pretty much every direction apart from the fire station, and there can still be somebody sitting in that. So we didn't clear that out first before we called this in. I would have placed it very, very close to one of the doors, so you can hide in the building while it does drop in here. There is an enemy coming in on a quad bike here. We'll see how he reacts. Seems like he does really want the kill here, but he's a little bit hesitant. So the RPG is a good option, but really just killing him with the M13 would have been better here. It's an easier shot to hit, and the movement speed of the quad makes it really, really tough to hit those with the RPG, especially since it's a little bit more inaccurate than you would expect. Plus, this hit the building over here. Like, you can see this is about to hit this building, which does let pretty much everybody know that you're sort of firing RPGs in this area of the map because it's about to hit here. If you just kill the dude with the M13, you get a kill, and we sort of move on from here. Okay, so we do have a quad bike, another quad bike coming in here. See if we can hit this shot here. Okay, so that's a little bit unfortunate again. Basically with this, we should be leading these shots a little bit better. So that guy was already driving off as we fired. Basically, if we sort of aim, I'll show you again in the actual spot we should be aiming. If we take it back a little bit here. If we're aiming this RPG shot here, just a little bit to the left and down, we hit the ground and we potentially blow up the quad bike and the car in one rocket, and we get the kill. It's a fairly easy thing to miss if you don't know it. So basically shooting this around this area here blows up all this, and we have a much easier chance at getting the kill rather than just potentially whiffing this shot because we aimed slightly too high. Plus, we can still end up getting the kill here with our M13, but we sort of don't react fast enough. And now we do have a little bit of a problem because there is an enemy in the building that we are standing on, and we don't really know where he is. We do, of course, have our heartbeat sensor down here, so we can make use of that, and we'll just see what happens here. We'll let this roll out. Okay, so we definitely need to get off this roof now as we are being shot at, but we'd sort of take a little bit too long to move off here. Like, we've already been exposed. I think we're getting shot at from over here. That's just a guess, but I'm not 100% sure where the bullets are exactly coming from. using the heartbeat sensor is good. Like this guy does seem to be positioned in the garage part of, like just below this yellow bit in the garage part of the firehouse. But again, we definitely don't need to be on the roof here. We need to go kill this guy. Okay, so we almost missed the chance to kill that dude because I had our heartbeat sensor out, but we got the job done, and we weren't really punished for having out our heartbeat sensor, which is not too big of a deal, but that can get us killed sometimes, so we got to watch out for that kind of stuff. Okay, so where should we be looking to be flying here? In my opinion, we are now in what is known as the crunch zone, because the zone is a fairly long distance away, and the zone is definitely coming in, as we can see here. So this zone here, and pretty much everything that isn't in the safe zone right now, is what's known as the crunch zone. And basically that means we're in the fat part of the circle that is moving quite quickly, meaning more people are going to get stuck in here and they're going to go towards the nearest landmark. So we do need to probably move to the other side of the map completely, but I think we're going towards the hospital, which is not a good place to be at all, because again, you can see here in this particular screenshot, like we are in this part and there is going to be so many people pushing from downtown to get to the hospital because it's the nearest landmark that's sort of half in the safe zone. So definitely don't want to go here. We pretty much want to go on the complete other side of the map here. Okay, so as I said, remember we are in the crunch zone here. We really don't need to be worrying about this like hunter-killer contract here. We do not need to worry about this at all. If we stick around at the hospital for too long, we're probably going to die. Like, there is going to be loads of people, as I mentioned here. So we do really want to move on, but we don't here. So this is a little bit of a problem. It sort of makes us a little bit more vulnerable from here. Okay, so we have an enemy right on top of us here. Now, what do we really do in this situation? We don't really want to push in that window there because he might be very, very close. So the window on our left is probably the best option. And now we do have two enemies in here. Pretty much nailed on. You know they're on the right here. So you should be looking over here, but we're actually looking sort of to the left here, looking at these beds. We don't really need to be looking over here. These guys are either in this room here or they're upstairs. So this is really good crosshair placement here, aiming at this wall just before we're about to peek what I think an enemy is in here. If they're not, they're upstairs. So if we peek this wall like this, aim at here, the laser doesn't shine on this particular, like we don't reveal ourselves too early, and we can sort of maybe try and pick the guy off if he is in here. But he doesn't seem to be, so we're moving upstairs, and he is basically sort of above you here, I believe. Okay, so this is an example of really bad crosshair placement. We had some good before, but now we've got some bad. Basically, I am under the impression that this dude is in this room here. So you're exposing your laser here, like in this portion here, you're exposing it by pointing at this room. He can see it if he's in there. If he's in here for some reason, you can see that. And if for some reason he's over here, he can see your laser just pointing across the middle of the room. Basically, you have to be really confident here and sort of pick where you want to aim. If you want to aim at this room here, you're going to expose from this two ways, but at least you can clear this out. And maybe push into here and then clear this and then do this way, but I don't think that's what we do. And I think what we do is not super great, but I think we get away with it. Okay, like I said, I can admit where I'm wrong. I thought he was in this room here, but this dude's just chilling. Like, this dude's just chilling here. So we really need to murder this guy, otherwise we're in a pretty bad spot here. That is a terrible throw. Oh, that's bad luck on that throw there. That would have worked, but it got stuck on the roof. Okay, so this dude is not in here anymore. Based on that broken window there, I'm guessing he jumped out of the building. So we can pretty much leave this, I believe. And there's nothing on your heartbeat sensor, so we can pretty much just leave here, I think. Okay, so we've got a bit of gunfire fairly close, seemingly. And we're going to try and take a look at this guy. We have more information here. And we have even more information here. So this dude is a very easy kill. And we make fairly light work of it. That's a pretty good kill there. I appreciate that. That's a very good job there. Okay, so buying an ammo box there is a fairly large waste of our $5,000. What we really should be doing here is buying a self-revive and at least a couple of UAVs. Like, we can get that sort of VSAT, like advanced UAV style effect. I mean, it's a little bit early for that, and there's probably not too many people around here anyway. They're probably already scattered towards the middle. But basically, if we get a couple of UAVs, we get an advanced UAV-like effect, and we can pretty much see the direction of whatever we want. But we waste about $5,000, and then we can't end up buying them. I know we do end up buying a self-revive and a couple of UAVs, but again, we could just make this a little bit more efficient and not spend the extra $500 when we already had a pretty decent amount of ammo here. Okay, so picking up the bounty target or the bounty contract at this point in the game is not a very good option. Basically, it gives away too much information. We do very much get a general idea of where somebody is hiding over here, but they also get that information from us. So I believe we'd probably be about a 2-bar. So the person you're hunting does get an indication of how far you are away, and I think we'd be a 2-bar in this particular situation. So again, I don't think it's a great option because we're giving away a lot of information here. Like, if we do go kill this man, then fantastic, but I don't think we should pick it up here. It's just not really worth the risk. Okay, so this isn't our bounty target, but we do need to kill this guy right here. Alright, we need to stop and think about what we actually have at our disposal here at the moment. That dude, you broke his armor, so he's very, very concerned right now. He's probably armoring as we speak. We can finish this fight in about 2 seconds if we choose to do so. We still have an RPG, and he's basically in a very, very small box, and this is going to come up later. If we pull out our RPG and just shoot one in this box here, we're pretty much guaranteed to kill this guy, and this sort of not doing this does actually sort of cost us our life, unfortunately, as we do lose this fight, as we sort of push out while we're armoring, and we just can't really do that. That's a bit unfortunate, the bad timing there, and he sort of kills us and makes us use our self-revive. So again, we've lost about $4,500 here for no reason, really. Now, keep in mind here, you can actually parachute for a very long time when you're coming into the zone. And you can sort of get a better idea of where people are going to be and sort of get the best position available. Like, the best position available at the moment would be for us to drop not in on this loadout drop here, but on the train station roof, as that's probably the best high ground available. Or we can go down to the loadout drop and then make our way to the roof of the train station. Okay, so tap firing at this dude is a very good thing to do because he is quite far away. And we don't have a fantastic long-range weapon without a sight here. But sort of taking on this fight at all is going to leave us very, very vulnerable. And we really should be getting off this roof right now. Like, we do not need to be sitting here. As I said, somebody might be up here. Like, this is a very powerful high ground to have as part of the train station building. And this dude's already shooting at us, so we really do not want to be up here anymore or any longer than we need to be. And this is sort of basically the end of that time where we should be on the roof here. We should be moving and sort of moving in towards the train station here. Even though we moved up here and we almost died to that claymore, which would have been hilarious, lucky you did see that, this is still a terrible position to be in right now. I'm actually predicting that we're going to get sniped here soon, and that's how we die. Like, we're super, super exposed. Like, we're pretty much open to about... So this is what we can see. So we can see basically everything that is here, which is sort of that little wedge. And literally 95% of the zone can shoot us right now, apart from sort of that little bit of there. Basically, everything on the other side of this zone can shoot at us right now, and we really don't want to be in this position here, so I think we're going to get sniped. Okay, so I'm guilty of this myself sometimes, but these boxes are terrible to hide in. Remember our friend who we should have killed earlier with the RPG? We win that fight very easily if we just launch an RPG in here. And that dude on the roof has either a pillar or an RPG. We are in very serious trouble here. Like, if this dude just decides to kill us, like, he has a very powerful option to just decide to kill us here. If he shoots in this box, we are dead, so that's not a great spot to be in. Okay, we definitely shouldn't be firing at people in this late stage in the zone if we aren't 100% sure that we're going to kill them. I do this a lot too. I make this mistake a lot of the time, and you just immediately fire at the first person that you see, and it does give you away. So we are very exposed right now. We're exposed from the left, exposed from that way, and exposed from behind, all because we've sort of given away our position. It's a little bit unfortunate that we give our position away here because it does actually lead to our death. Alright, fair enough. Used good ears there. There was a very simple kill on offer, and you did take it, but now we're sort of facing another enemy potentially as we're getting shot here with only 23 bullets. So we need to reload, which you do, and then we sort of get pushed here from 2 different angles, and it's a little bit unfortunate. There's not a lot we can awfully do there, like specifically. We did pretty much the right thing. We just got pushed from 2 angles, and the only way to win in that situation is to not be in it. We can be on top of this yellow building here very, very easily and just hiding on top of it or firing down at people if we do make our move much earlier in the zone. Even if we decide to parachute down onto this building, this would be a better position to be in than grabbing that loadout drop and then sort of dying in this little area here. But there's not really much you can do about getting double teamed apart from not being in that position in the first place. And that wraps up our gameplay here. We did come, I think, about 25th-ish with a couple of kills, which is not too bad. Like, Warzone can be a pretty scary place sometimes, especially solo, because it is kind of spooky. But hopefully everybody watching this does take a little bit away from it and we get some good things and we sort of try and iron out the bad things that we do all have in our game. I'm definitely not trying to be mean or anything like that. Hopefully he did take this in a very good way and we've got to get a decent response out of this, and you guys do send me your clips here. I definitely make some of these mistakes myself, but I think together we can get better as players through this new series. So of course, if you do want to send me your gameplay, please upload some footage to YouTube and email it to me at lessthanaveragegaming@hotmail.com, or join my community Discord with the link on screen. Make sure you leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here, of course. If there's a big enough interest for this series, I'll continue to make more. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!